As the spiritual leader of A Place of Faith, Reverend Linda brings you a new lesson each week. Join us today as we share the path of spiritual enlightenment and evolution of consciousness with you. Our intention is to share content with you that encourages interest and expands the horizons of your journey. Our mission is to create a safe place to explore and develop personal, spiritual connections and relationships. Our vision is the joyous, loving acceptance of all people as an expression of divine spirit in the evolution of consciousness to oneness. All are welcome here.
Good morning again to everyone here, everyone watching on video. We so appreciate having you with us. So today's talk is opening our eyes. Kind of a play on words. Hopefully I can explain that in a way that'll make sense. But before all that, please join me once again in prayer. Let's just take a breath together and turn within. God, we give thanks for the people here in this sanctuary, for the people watching online, for the opportunity to share and grow and love together. God, we are so grateful for this community. We are so grateful for the rains that are coming. We are so grateful for the joy that lives in each and every one of us. Thank you, God. Amen. So, opening our eyes. Let me tell you what I was thinking on that. We had this wonderful meditation and the wonderful teachings, and we know that we are always connected. So how is it that we can ever feel alone? Right? What is that? We know to the core of our being that we are absolutely connected. But so often we feel alone. We feel small. We feel fragmented. I invite you to consider these feelings as narrow eyes, right? I've made the eye very small when I feel alone, when I feel separate. I don't feel connected. Well, how does that even happen, right? Well, maybe I'm the only one here. It would be natural to feel alone, wouldn't it? I'm not talking about tactile touch. I'm not talking about not having someone to hug or to hold. I'm not talking about missing our loved ones. I'm talking about that feeling that we get when we feel completely disconnected, when we feel very, very small. You know, a child, a baby, has no sense of self whatsoever until they're about 2 years old. They believe, and you know, they haven't told us that, this is lots of scientific experience, but they believe that they're actually a part of their caretakers, that they're actually a part of the people who are holding them and loving them and caring for them. This is why we've learned it's so essential that those babies need to have somebody look them in the eye and smile, right? We're teaching them that they matter, that they're important. So around the age of 2 years old, they start to become more independent, and we all know the terrible twos, right? They learn the word no, and they learn me, and I want, and I, gimme, right? This is a natural part of our physical growth, our physical development, and understanding that makes it easier to tolerate the biting or whatever, right, that comes with twoisms. Why don't we offer ourselves that same kind of understanding? And, you know, they do child development, but it's kind of hard to find the adult development, right? The growing up and becoming as an adult. And we have a lot of choice in that. We have an awful lot of choice into who we grow into, what we pay attention to, what we're going to follow. We also have a lot of choice in how big or how little our I is. And that's what I want to talk about today. At some point, usually as children, we have a family, right? And we start to separate that family and we go find friends. And we feel like we belong. We feel like we're a part of. But at some point, and often this is a reckoning, we realize that those people are individuals. And they aren't always who and what we thought they should be. We feel like, they're disappointing us. They're not living up to our expectations, right? This is not the mother I would choose. This is not the brother that I wanted. My friend would never do this to me. How could that happen? And we get trapped into that. I kind of love the image, right? Trapped in our own brains. And that's when we start to make our eyes very small, where we can really suck in on ourselves. We might blame ourselves. If I was a better child, my parents would have done what I needed. There must be something wrong with me that I pick friends who would say and do these things. Do you see what we're doing? We are shrinking the I. And what we want to look at today is how do we stop that, right? It doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve anyone when we shrink our eyes down and become simple and single. And it really doesn't help anybody in the whole world if we blame ourselves for everything that's going on. We did a class on, I believe it was on forgiveness, where somewhere in the book or something, Pastor Robert said, I'm not sure where it came from, but it has stuck with me, and I'll share it with you in case you missed that class. Things that happen in our lives don't happen to us. They happen for us, right? It didn't feel that way when I was going on. I'm pretty sure this happened to me, right? But in reality, the things that happen that make us uncomfortable or upset us or sad can be the catalysts that motivate us onto the right path, right? Kind of like bumping into an electric fence. Nobody wants to do that. But how many times are you going to bump that fence before you realize you should go into a different direction? So if we look at those traumas and dramas that happen through our lives, not as victims, right, but as active participants who are being moved and directed to another place. There we go. Joshua 1:9 says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And on some level, we know that's true. We know that's absolutely true. God is with us always. But God doesn't do it for us. And that can be a tripping point. You know, I prayed, I wanted you to do it to me. So often the answer to prayer is an idea, is a direction, is a thought. They have a saying that you don't pray for patience because you will be given way too many opportunities to learn that, right? Know that one? When I pray like this. God, be my patience. God, be my strength. Because we're always connected to that well of the divine that we can pull from, that we can express from. I don't need patience. I need God. And that's always the answer. And that always opens my eyes. I've got notes in front of me, forgive me. Okay. When we forget that allness, right? That's when we make ourselves very small. And when I'm talking about the small I and the big I, please don't hear judgment in this. I feel like there really is value in going into the small I, into going into that separation. I think we're in trouble when we start to believe that's our truth, and we forget that our truth is we are connected to everywhere all the time. So, how do we change our thinking from I into I am, that bigger expression of the I-ness? Kind of like the royal we, right? Have you ever caught that? The royal family says, we will sit on the throne. I kind of like that, not that I would really do that. I did, so you never know, right? I like the big I, the I am, the we-ness of I. And when I'm connected to that, I have opened the I to include all that is, to include absolutely everything. It's like praying to God to be my strength, right? I'm drawing from that big pool. Now, I may still feel very alone. I may be alone. Sometimes it's a matter of I want to hug somebody or just spend time with people. So often we get trapped in that little I because we're afraid to ask for help, right? We're afraid that if I tell you I need you, I give you power over me. You realize that I need you. I really need you. And there's some kind of fear in me that makes it all crazy. You know, oh no, now you know I need you. Now I said I love you first. You didn't say it back, right? It's that same kind of thing, that same kind of fear. And we can go back to the scripture, Joshua 1:9, didn't I tell you not to fear, right? And that's what we call stinking thinking, right? My thoughts get all tangled up. But my thoughts can feel like the most real thing because it's through my thoughts, through my perceptions, that I perceive and deal with the world. And if my eye is closed and I've got a very little eye, I'm likely to have huge anxiety issues because I feel like I have to control everything. I'm the only one. I might have huge depression because I feel like everything that ever happened is my fault. And I messed this up so badly again, I'm afraid to try. I'm afraid to go forward. My eye is closed, right? I closed my eye. When I open my eye, I can laugh about the mistakes that I made, and I can remember when I made those mistakes, you know, that was so yesterday, or 10 years ago, or, 50 years ago, and I'm still carrying it. It's like, girl, get over it, right? And I have to remember that when I made that mistake, I was doing the best I could at the time. That was my very best. It might have not been anything I'm proud of today, but that's because I'm better today. It's because I know more, because I can do more, because I have more practice. So I can let go of the things in my past and let them be past. And that helps me be fully present to open my eye today. Isaiah 41:10 tells us, do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Some translations say righteous right hand. Either way, together, everything that has ever been, that ever will be, can work together to help us if we can get our heads in the right place. There should be a picture there. Let's go back and forward. Oh, there it is. How do we do it? Okay, we take our power back. This is the image I chose for an open eye, right? All of the cosmos inside of us. Okay, so there you go. Take your power back. Ta-da, you're all cured. It's great. Your eyes are all wide open, right? So I'm going to offer you a methodology for taking your power back. And what works for one of us isn't going to work for all of us, because that's just not the way the world works. But when you find yourself trapped in your head, trapped in your mind, telling yourself whatever it is you're telling yourself, that's where you take your power back. A lot of people I know that use this technique say cancel. Cancel, 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 right? That thought gets in my head, whatever it is, I'm going to cancel it. One of my favorite movies of all times, you may remember it, I may be a lot older than you are, is Labyrinth, the David Bowie movie. At the end of the movie, the girl that he's been trying to control and torture and torment realizes, you have no power over me. He had been trying to convince her to give him control over her life, over her brother, over her being. And she realized, you have no power over me. I tell you, I like that one personally better than cancel, cancel, cancel. When I remember, I gave you that power. I'm taking it back. You have no power over me. Whether it's fear, whether it's loneliness, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's a resentment, because that's happened. And boy, when I get a resentment going, my head can go a mile a minute. And I can stop and release it by reminding myself, you have no power over me. Okay, there's a lot of other ways to do this too. Sometimes it's as easy as I reject you, right? When that thought comes up, I'm not worthy, I can't ask for help, they'll find it, whatever it is, I reject you. I do not accept you as one of my thoughts. I reject you. Now, there's a part of us, there might be a part of us that refuses to reject anything. So I reject you can be a harsh statement, right? Because we don't want to be rejected. So that won't work for everyone. I like knowing, and this is, we're going very biblical, but this one works for me. I like, get thee behind me. Right? Very biblical, very powerful in my life. So I get up in the morning, and that seems to be when I'm most vulnerable, before I've said my prayers and meditation. And I've got that thought going, and I tell it, get thee behind me. It almost immediately goes away. It almost immediately goes away. I have a poster in my room that says, let the sun ever be on your face and the shadow behind you. And I love that. I turn to the sun and say, get thee behind me. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, what we're talking about here are denials. And that can be one of the most powerful tools we have to change our thinking, to turn ourselves around. When I find myself being really negative about something, and I like to use traffic as an example because, we have that here. And it's easy to feel like they cut me off or they're pushing me over, and those thoughts start to come up. And when I say, you have no power over me, when I remember that the person who just cut me off doesn't even know me. I do not have to personalize that behavior. I do not have to give it power over me. I can reject the thoughts that come to me. Do not be afraid. I am with you. When that fear comes up, that's when I say, you have no power over me. And I know that whatever it is I'm afraid of, and there have been lists and lists over the years, when I face that fear, when I do it anyways, I feel strong, I feel triumphant, and I feel so powerful. I'm going to circle back around to a point that I made before we go into affirmations. We're going to end soon, it's good. When I ask for help, right, what's really happening? Think about it. Each and every person in this room has had the opportunity and the ability to help another human being. Each one of you have. Whether it's a child or a stranger, whatever the story, you've had that opportunity. How do you feel when you help someone? You feel valuable. You feel worthy. You feel on top of the world. And if you're in a profession, if you're doing something that you feel helps people, your self-worth goes up, your self-value goes up, you're helping. Why would I ever deny you the opportunity to feel that way? And isn't that what I'm doing when I'm not asking for help and I need help? I am denying you the opportunity to feel that wonderful, great feeling that I feel when I help people. When I ask you for help, I'm saying, I honor you. I value you. I see you and the beauty that you are. And I know I need you. I need your help. Why don't they tell it to us that way, right? Because I'm right. This is absolutely the truth, capital T truth. When I need help and I ask for help, I'm not weak. I'm strong, and I'm strengthening our relationship. And in case you doubt that point, think back, because it's happened to all of us. Think about a time that somebody you love needed help, really needed help, and never let you know. And you could have helped. You would have been glad to help. You would have been honored to help. But they never even told you? How did that feel? And why would you want to let anybody else feel that way? So I circled back. That isn't where I wanted to end, but I wanted to share that with you. We are about to do our affirmations, but before we do, I want to come back and bring the energy back up. So, oftentimes our affirmations start with I am, right? And that's a wonderful way to open our I. Instead of just I become I am, right? I am. So as we end this lesson with our affirmations, I invite you to I am with me. Ready? Okay, first one, here comes. I am more than I appear to be. Beautiful, let's do that together again. I am more than I appear to be. Oh, that's good energy. Oops, the next one is not on my notes, so I'm going to come here because I have it. I am love, connected to all that is, has ever been, and will be. Is that what it says? Good. Okay, let's do it together, shall we? I am love and connected to all that is, ever has been, and all that will be. And our last one. I am sacred and live from the oneness with God. Together, I am sacred and live from the oneness with God. Thank you.
A lot of us grew up believing at any moment we could lose it all. At the drop of a hat, God might turn his back and move on. A lot of us feel like we blew it, thinking that we're just too far gone. But I want you to know that there's still hope for you now. And no matter what you've done, you can't erase his love. Nothing can change it. You're not separated, no matter what. There's never been a better time to get honest. Never been a better time to get clean. So come as you are, run to the cross and be free. No matter what you've done, you can't erase his love. Nothing can change it. You're not separated, no matter where you run. He's always holding on. You're still a daughter, you're still a son, no matter what. You're still a daughter, you're still a son, no matter what.
Follow us on Facebook for daily meditations, prayers, and all of our videos. If you know of anyone, anywhere, who is struggling with spirituality or who wants a spiritual community, please share our videos. Commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing are also ways to support us and help us grow. Reverend Linda is available by phone, Facebook Messenger, or Zoom conference for spiritual and ministerial counseling, guidance, and direction on a love offering basis. She can be reached through A Place of Faith at sohomail.com or through Unity Church of El Cajon. A Place of Faith is sponsored by Unity Church of El Cajon at 311 Highland Avenue, El Cajon, California, 92020. You can send donations there. Just put APOF on the check, or you can also contact us through our website at www.unityofelcajon.org and make your donations on the website. Thank you for your support.